I really don't want to be a Voldemort. Why do you do this to me? I can't understand. How good our society is. Why do you prefer boys over girls? Is raising children really protecting you from old age? This day my brother's fever does not fade. Being hung up by Grandma. It's just because my grandma believes that peachwood branches can drive away evil spirits. Seeing my brother foaming at the mouth, I quickly called my parents back to save my brother. My brother grew up as he wished. But I was suppressed by my parents. Become a Voldemort. I dropped out of school and worked. Earned blood for my brother. Finally met true love. But my parents will refund the betrothal gift for 5 million yuan. Later, my brother got married and had children. At the age of 35, I became my brother's free nanny. Parents always say, "I'll help me in the future. My brother will definitely repay me." But when I have to spend money to treat my illness due to long-term malnutrition, my brother kicked me out of the house. You eat mine. Drink mine. Want to think about my money. It's like a white-eyed wolf with unripe stomach. I'm dead. Died in the snow and ice that no one cares about. Good-looking high-quality finish. Thousands of cool doors. Yuan Bao Xiangxiang accounts for more than half of it. My brother's first update to the end. The wonderful story is now opening your eyes. I'm back to my 7-year-old brother. When the high fever does not subside. There has been an old saying in the village that peachwood branches can drive away evil spirits. The child keeps crying. Pump with peachwood branches. The child is cured. Continue to draw. If the draw fails, then just thrust. 3 thrusts. After my parents gave birth to my brother and I. So I went to work in the city. Go to make money. My brother and I were just fucked by my grandma. 7 years old. It's been sucked too much by peachwood branches. Whenever we see grandma picking up peachwood branches, I will never make my grandma upset. See us quiet. Grandma will laugh. It also said that what our ancestors left were useful. Peachwood branches come out. No little devil dares to appear. At that time, my brother and I depended on each other for our own lives. What I fear most is grandma's peachwood branches. Until then I grew up homeless. After dying of serious illness, I was shocked. The most terrifying thing in this world is actually the human heart. Sister. I'm so uncomfortable. My brother shrank into a ball on the Kong. He was sweating coldly on his forehead. The whole body is shaking. I opened my eyes and looked at the scenes I had when I was young. There was a moment of trance in my mind. Grandma sleeping beside her has lifted the quilt. Looking at the dim light, Grandma reached out and touched her brother's forehead. Unconsciously, his eyebrows tightened. Grandma reaches out to hug her brother. But my brother pushed it away. My brother choked with the quilt horn. Mother. I want my mother to take me to the hospital. Grandma snorted coldly. Reprimand. Can you go to the hospital at will? That's where I went after death. Your uncle is a cousin. I went to the hospital for an injection. I'll be paralyzed after taking medicine. You're a little devil who's taking injections and taking medicine is useless. You have to use peachwood branches. Said. Grandma took out the peachwood branches hidden under the back of the bed. Raise your hand and twitch it on your brother. My brother feels it hurts. Yay. Crying. I'm very painful. I want my dad and mom. Grandma gritted her teeth. Your parents can't beat the little devil. It's useless to find them back. Suck a few tricks and leave. The sound of whipping is getting more intense. Brother is dead. Gripping teeth. Don't dare to say another word. My brain is gradually clear. Finally realized that I was reborn. Back to my brother. High fever never fades. Sister has been so many years ago. You eat mine. I'll ask for money if I drink mine. Is it too much? Go to die if you are sick. What do I do if I do? My wife and son have had enough of your ragged and disgusting look. Don't force me to attack you. Get out. If you want to die, you will be farther away. People like you are also polluting the air. What Guan Qingji, who was 38 years old before my death, was still surrounded by his ears. Guan Qingji, who was 7 years old, had already started to spit white foam on his mouth. Unconscious. I tightened my palms and felt panic and worried as if I had no money. Not even running barefoot for dozens of kilometers away. The idea of calling the city's parents at the convenience store at the entrance of the village. I quietly looked at the peachwood branches on my grandma's hand. It fell on Guan Qingji at once. I silently listened to the crisp sounds made by peachwood branches when they came into contact with flesh and blood. He got rid of breasts and thought Guan Qingji beat him with 100 strokes. Blood stained the collar. He was motionless after being sucked. Dying. Grandma gasping. Touched Guan Qingji's forehead. Say joyfully. The fever has subsided. I'll say. You can only rely on peachwood branches to take medicine. Injection is not easy to use. He's too lazy to give it to me when he's tired. Guan Qingji changed his clothes and lay down directly. There are still words in your mouth. The little devil who was even more disgusting with boy blood on the clothes. I don't dare to look for my dear grandson when I see these things. Finished. Grandma's snoring sounded in the room. I looked up at me. I saw Guan Qingji's radical purple lips. There has never been a slight ups and downs in the chest. When Guan Qingji's body is cooler. The neighbor who came to the house to borrow a hoe found something wrong. The neighbor and Grandma said, Guan Qingji has to go to the hospital for a look. Grandma waved her hand quickly and said, no need to say no. Guan Qingji was tired last night. Will be more. You'll be alive soon. The neighbors can't understand what they do with Grandma. Then, he called his parents in the city. Mom went home and saw Guan Qingji's miserable situation. Almost didn't cry. Dad still maintained a little bit of rationality. Take your son to the hospital for treatment. Guan Qingji is not dead, but suffering from polio. Disabled legs. Brain atrophy will accompany. When Guan Qingji's lifelong parents brought Guan Qingji back, the two people were dragged back from the water. There is no light in my eyes. Grandma hears the diagnosis from the hospital. Don't believe it at all. Even continue to smoke peach wood. Close. Qingji is a little ghost who is hurt. I said I won't go to the hospital. If you don't go to the hospital, you're the same as calling for help. He's a fool. Are you Guan Qingji's mother? Is there anyone who harmed your son like this? Let me use peachwood strips to suck. The little devil drove away my good grandson. I can watch my grandmother approaching Guan Qingji's mother can no longer yell at her grandmother to death. Do you know? You beat your grandson too stupidly. Originally, Guan Qingji just had a cold and a fever. You have to use the wooden stick to finish slaughtering him. He won't change his clothes yet. He feels a lot. You don't believe in doctors or science. You are the ones you ruined. The grandson is ruined. You're satisfied. Mom collapsed, crying bitterly. Dad's tears also fell sad. Being sad. All my eyes are hatred for Grandma. And this hatred was in the previous life. They only target me but not. Who will earn Guan Qingji's tuition fee? That's your brother. The only thing you can count on is your brother. You want to marry. Of course, 5 million gifts. Also, let that man buy your brother a house in the city. I'll promise you to marry. You're over 30. Go to work. How much money can you make in a month? Why not be a nanny for your brother? Your brother can still remember your relationship. Still the same sentence. No 5 million or 1 room. Don't mention marriage. Wait until we get old. You serve me. Isn't the pensions for your dad and my dad and you still have yours? They coax me to give. At the same time, I scolded me for being useless. And I always put family affection first. How could he expect that the end of hard work would be a death from illness and corpse without any remains? Now it's okay. Guan Qingji is a disabled fool. He can't go to school. Can't get married, can't have children. And I don't have to earn tuition for him. Earn him a bride gift. Be his nanny. Looking at the room full of sorrow. Hiding in the corner, I unconsciously smiled. Mom can't bear to leave Guan Qingji alone with her grandmother and suffer. So my mother stayed in the village. Accompany Guan Qingji day and night. Looking forward to the day when Guan Qingji recovers. But from time to time I would take advantage of my mother's work in the field. And using peachwood branches to beat Guan Qingji's grandmother. Can Guan Qingji have a chance to recover? Your brother is like this because he is a little devil. But this ghost is a bit powerful. He's a terrible ghost. Look, I won't let this evil spirit draw it out. No one can harm your brother Qingji. You can fight for your breath. The evil ghost is gone. You'll be fine. Second. A small test knife in secret. Grandma did not see Guan Qingji recovering as usual. It's just when my mother follows the family planning regulations and goes to Juhuan. Grandma is ruthless. Just a thump at Guan Qingji. It's colder than that night. Even the peach tree branches were poked 3 times. I'm not saying a word. Squatting in the corner, looking at the little Guan Qingji crying in pain. Little child. No good meat left on the body. This time it was still the neighbor who heard the news. Hurry up to the health center and called back to my mother. That's why Guan Qingji was not beaten to death by his grandmother. Mom comes back and sees her baby son suffers this. I don't even have the strength to cry. Slid directly on the ground. Mom drags her neighbor and calls her dad back. Dad keeps running. Carry Guan Qingji to the hospital. Grandma is still stopping. Dad shouted. Can't go to the hospital. Never go to the hospital. My baby grandson is really finished. My baby grandson. Stay through this night. It'll be ready soon. Dad can't stand Grandma's feudal superstition. Glimp Grandma away with one kick. I have the heart to kill my grandma in my red eyes. Grandma was beaten by Dad. Frightened for a while. Can't say a word. Wait until Dad is gone. Mom came back to her senses. He slowly got up from the ground. Go out. A thick and long peach tree branch was broken from the peach tree. Then he walked towards Grandma step by step. Grandma looks at her mother's infatuation. I thought she was also evil. Body girl. What's wrong with you? Mom laughed coldly. You'll know in a while. Mom. Don't you always say your back and legs hurt? My wife thought. This peach tree branch can drive away blood. I want to get rid of blood for you, too. Mom's eyes became ruthless. Grandma stopped. With Grandma's screams resounded throughout the room. You're not smiling. This peach tree branch can only drive away blood by whistling old whistle. Crazy. My daughter-in-law is crazy and stop beating. Stop. Kaiser. This is going to kill someone. I squatted in the ground in front of the door and played with mud. People passing by. Because I heard the shouting at home. Can't help but stop and watch. Then a wave of discussion about feudal superstition killed people. How could this old lady be so hard at sewer? This is what the old lady will be hated by her son and daughter-in-law. Life is probably not going well. Mom is a good job in the field. Great strength and upright. Booming. This time I started to beat my grandma to hemiplegia. Dad knows that his mother suffered a stroke by his wife. He was so angry that he slapped his mother in the face. That slap took all your strength. Slap my mother to the ground. A hard fall. It was also because of this fall that I became a mother who was a sacrificial circle. Blood is out of the air right now. Official. Qingji has not been discharged from the hospital yet. Grandma went to the hospital. Grandma's big expenses have not been settled yet. My mother was told by a gynecologist that the birth control ring inlay failed. Even if the fertilization ring is taken out. Mom will never have children again in the future. One night. Dad's hair is gray. It seems like he is 10 years older. I brought the fried rice I made myself to my father. Don't be sad, Dad. I'll read well. Get admitted to university. Reward you. Dad finally couldn't help it. Tears fell. He hugged me and started crying. Nir. From now on, we can only rely on you. You have to be strong. I don't know if I try to get ahead for the treatment of the land. Actually, this is not necessary. Dad said. I've repeatedly reminded myself in my heart. I will never be anyone's stepping stone in this life. Never give anyone a chance to humiliate me. The villagers said. Guan Qingji is pitiful. What's greedy at a young age? The villagers also said. Poor grandma. You're going to be guilty of your age. The villagers said. Poor mom. Guarding 2 stalls. Can't go anywhere. Certainly. In the eyes of the villagers. The most pitiful thing is me. Mom looked at the demented Guan Qingji and cried all day long. Every now and then, I have to quarrel with my grandma who can't speak anymore. Dad's salary alone is difficult to maintain grandma. My brother's medical expenses. So my mother takes care of grandma and brother while taking care of her. On the other hand, I need to do some manual work to make a living. Almost all the things at home fell on me. But at the age of 9, I get up at 5 o'clock every day to get pig grass. At 6 o'clock, the pigs in the pig pen were ready. The breakfast for Grandma and Mother is also served. After breastfeeding, finishing breakfast, I can go to school. Rest at noon. I ran all the way from the village primary school. Go home to make lunch. Have lunch and clean up. I'll go to school for afternoon class again. After school in the afternoon, I have to run wildly again. Go home to make supper. Have dinner and clean up. I'll wash my grandma again. Wash your brother. Occasionally, you have to wash the pig pen and chicken nest. My busy figure fell into the eyes of the villagers. All that's left is pitiful. But I don't feel pitiful. Because these are the past. I'm doing it too. Even in the past. I also need to carry Guanxing Keita pig grass on my back. Carrying with Guanxingji on her back. Comfort grandma. Unreasonable blame and insult parents. Comparing the absolute preference for my younger brother's past and present. Now. Occasionally, I can hide a few eggs for myself to eat. My life is getting better and better. My family is pitiful. What does it have to do with me? That year, I graduated from elementary school. Mom finally got rid of it. The last bit of care for Guanxingji. Don't want to stay in the village at all. Guarding the 2 stalls of Grandma and Guanxingji. So my mother and dad asked me to drop out of school. Let him go out to work and earn money. Dad knows his mother's unwillingness. But he was even more worried about throwing 2 stalls to me, a teenager. She will be gossiped by the villagers. So she tried her best to comfort her mother. Continue to patiently comfort mother. Believe me. In the future, we will definitely be able to reward our parents. You can't rebirth now. We can only count on Danny. Although she is a girl. But it's our biological child after all. Better than what you picked up from outside. The teacher also came to my house to talk. Our Jungmi has talent for studying. Can't do well in the exam in the future. Be patient at school. Don't say retirement. Let Guandani read more books. The future is good too. If you find a good person to marry, you can get more money for the bride. Standing outside the door listening to parents quarrel. I'm at this time, too. Push the door in. Take out the scholarships won by the Olympics. This is my bonus. $100 I got. The teacher said. As long as I study hard. You can always get scholarships. I'll be able to repay you soon. Wait until I get into university. Going to a big city. Made money. I'm from the best doctor who is not the best doctor to find the best nursing home for my grandma. I'll buy a big house in the future. Take your parents to live in the city. We'll be filial to parents for the rest of their lives. When I say these words, little. Sincere and sincere. There was no trace of intentional performance. Dad's eyes turned red immediately. I was moved to tears because of having such a good daughter as me. But my mother's eyes were always cold, and that was distrust from the bottom of her heart. Mom came over and took the 100 pieces of silk from my hand. Then he slapped me hard. His fingertips trembled and his words were very spicy. Dead girl. You can cheat on your dad. But you can't cheat me. I've been at home for 2 years. You never say a word. Your dad came back and knew he had put on the pole and pleased him. Also make a lot of money by taking the college entrance exam. Don't think I don't know what you are thinking. If you want to read the book, you will escape from this home. Right. The county town has its original intention. You can only live in the middle school. You won't come back to help you. You let me serve 2 stalls alone. You're free outside. Stop dreaming. Dad keeps me in his arms. Then he started arguing with his mother. Why are you angry with a 7 child? Danny is so young. What he knows. He just wants to read the book. But not as dirty as you. It's obvious that you can't endure the hardship. I know you hate me. At worst, divorce. You are a hen who can't lay eggs. I think I'm divorced. Who wants your dad to get a divorce? Saying that it was my mother blamed me for all the mistakes. The villagers saw me. Just say there are old and young people at home. Tell me not to go out to work. Keep telling me. Guan Danny is a good girl. Be kinder to the girl. I want to go out to work. Who said it? So who is gossiping in front of others? Not Guan Danny. Who else can it be? When your mother used peach wood branches to hit Guan Qingji. Guan Danny has been watching her from the side. I've read a book even though I'm so old. Can you not know that your mother is feudal superstition? Why don't you say nothing? Let your mother make Guan Qingji like this. I think she clearly did it on purpose. Deliberately pretending to be pitiful in front of the villagers. Intentionally let your mother beat Guan Qingji to death. Mom said she wanted to pull my dad. Pushing me out of the door, who is pitiful and innocent. The door locks. Mom's noise. It's clearly visible through a door. Mom insults my dad. Maintain outside our door. Guan Qingji lying in the cart. The dazed grandma is sitting on the lounge chair and chewing and covering her face. This home is probably a mess to others. But in my opinion, this home should have been like this. Mom is right. I just kept silent on purpose. Watching grandma whip Guan Qingji. I just say it in front of the villagers from time to time. Mom doesn't want my brother and I. Let the villagers put pressure on parents on public opinion. I also told the teacher in particular. It's very likely that I can't go to school. Ask the teacher to call me back for my dad. All of this is carefully designed by me. Just to escape from this home. Let your mother serve the official festival and grandma for the rest of her life. Let him become a slave to this family. It is impossible to turn around in this life. I went to junior high school and left home as I wished. Mom gritted her teeth because she couldn't leave her brother and grandma. And I'm still drawing big cakes for my dad. Repeatedly promised to study hard. Repay parents. Mom takes this to learn skills with her dad. I'll endure for another half a year. If Danny is not stuck in the past 6 months. I immediately dropped out of school and came back to take care of my brother and grandma. Let me go out to work. Otherwise the grades are too poor. We are also a waste of money. Dad listened. Look at me again. I immediately said. Rest assured by parents. I must study hard. Never embarrass you. Dad is very satisfied. My response is leaving. He stuffed $200 into my pocket. Specially tell me not to tell my mother. First semester of junior high school. I occasionally report to my dad about my situation at school. By the way, some nice things to make parents happy. Those words that I used to coax me to support my younger brother. Once, it was not bad and gave their mothers to take care of their younger brother and grandma. Thanks for your hard work. Wait until I have the ability. Must hire a nanny for your mother. Every household in the county has a small car. I'll buy a car for my dad in the future. In this way, my dad can come back from another place anytime, anywhere. I heard that there are the best hospitals in Beijing. I tried hard to get into a school in Beijing. Take your brother to Beijing, and it's nice to say. Saying it makes people like dad. Every time I hear these words, my mother smiles. Although not as happy as dad. But I've heard this a lot. I will inevitably believe it. My attitude towards me has improved a little bit. I can even receive 200 yuan of living expenses every month from my father with my mother's consent. Just relying on these 200 yuan. I can buy school supplies. Buy information. Buy rice. Buy bedding. I can take good care of myself. You can buy your mind and devote yourself to learning. I can buy the final exam for the semester. My father and father forgot to win the first place in the school. That's it. My study career has been getting better and better. And my mother is nourished by my honeypot. Under the ruthless suppression of my father, I gradually recognized the fate of the exam. I've passed the key rocket class. Many girls who graduate from junior high school in the village don't go out to work. Just decided. People are going to get married. There is also a matchmaker in our house to introduce him. Mom took a good look. I want to discuss with Dad. Make a marriage for me first. I can recognize Danny. Can read. Develop according to this. I will definitely get into a good university in the future. But after all, she's a girl. If this girl has wings, she will fly. No matter what we do. Girls are more reliable. I think I can buy it for my son. How to buy it based on her. Chengzi is still holding it in our hands. The village chief's family does not have a separate research class. The introduction of the child's mother. My son has taken a fancy to Danny. Danny is still young now. Get engaged first. It's not too late to get married when Danny comes back from school. Danny is reading around them. Nope. The village chief said. Just settle. I'll give you a 200,000 bride gift. Then we will install a little house. It is more convenient to buy a car for you and take your parents to the city for medical treatment. What do you think? A few words from Mom. Let your father move. Mom asked Dad to persuade me. Promise this marriage. But I haven't waited for my father to persuade me. I took out an Apple phone and gave it to my dad and was shocked. Even though I haven't used an Apple phone. But he's also heard of it. Have seen this thing too. Where did you get the gift from your classmates? Dad, come. Dad's eyes widened. What classmate does? I want to give you iPhone. Is it worth a few thousand yuan for my mobile phone? Do you want a few thousand yuan? I don't know. Isn't it a kind of rocket class report today? A male classmate asked me for a phone number. Say it's easy to contact me in the future. Tell him that he doesn't have a cell phone. No mobile number. He gave me his dad's cell phone. But he took away the phone call inside. Let me apply for my own card. I don't want to spend this money. So give this phone to Dad. Haven't Dad used his phone for a long time? Dad can contact Mom frequently in the future. How much is the first one? I don't know what to ask. I continued to add. What are the boys nowadays? Good mother thinks about it when she goes to school. When I first learned. All of them, I gave my brother a love letter to me. Why do I have a male classmate in high school? It's just that my male dad is more convenient. Mom is the education department. Don't know what to do. Not quite big. Clothes. He will definitely not worry about his future. But I just want to read a lot. Dad swallowed his throat. After all, I didn't say anything to persuade me to get engaged to the village chief's only son. He turned into the room. Tell my mother all the words, I said. Don't lose the big picture because of small things. Danny is a village chief who can marry the mayor's son. The son is still one-eyed son. How can I be worthy of our Danny? I told you, will we just use the machine this time? Stop interfering. No matter what you say. Say I will never agree. Danny goes to the village chief's house. I want the mayor to be his family. Dad is so simple. That's so naive. He didn't think about what his daughter looked like. Don't think about the situation in my own way. I don't think about everything. Dad doesn't have time to do it. I don't have time to make friends with others, but no one knows what's wrong. Come up and talk to me for nothing. That Apple phone is just a money that was cut out from my father in the past 3 years. Just to see it today. The cake is big enough. Parents won't have any benefits of eye contact. Think of the previous generations. Parents should stop marrying far away. When marrying a boyfriend and bringing money to 5 million. Why didn't you think about your own conditions? Which fool would spend 5 million to marry a Voldemort who has no money and no family affairs? I actually favored my parents. It's right. How did you do it? I'll be so beautiful for you. So capable again. It's worth a lot of money. If that man had something in his heart, you would try every means to earn 5 million. Think about giving birth to children and being a cattle and a horse for others in their life. Why isn't it worth 5 million? Now I think back to what my parents said. It's quite funny. As funny as it is now. After the college entrance examination, I checked the score. Unrestrained. Set out on the way to Beijing. August. I successfully got the admission letter. September. I successfully accepted the money I earned from working during the summer vacation. I'll tell my parents. They won't need to pay more money in the future. I can work and study. Give them peace of mind. I will repay them after I graduate and work. They accepted all this with peace of mind. No worries about whether I'm eating outside. Is your life good or not? And I finally closed my accounting fee. The account book records 18 years old. Before. I've spent every amount of money that belongs to my parents. In childhood. I chew 3 steamed buns every day. 3 sweet potatoes. Early and high period. My living expenses are 200 yuan a month. Total according to today's prices. But the 20,000 yuan is counted as interest. Including inflation. Reward to parents. At most 50,000 yuan. 50,000. This number is kept in mind in my heart. Wait for one day to return it to them. Can have no connection with them anymore. You're sophomore now. You should be able to get a scholarship. I'll hear you say okay. There are also many scholarships in the school. Are you in love now? It's the mayor's son, but how much living expenses he gives you every month. In junior high school. I always call back. They are coaxing my parents to give me living expenses. Mom has already heard it. In order to give me a few less living expenses. I don't want to answer my phone number anymore. Not to mention high school. My living expenses are very difficult. I don't need them to pay for living expenses when going to college now. Instead, I called me more attentively. I know they are afraid that my wings will fly if they are hard. To complete the book smoothly, I had to deduct some money from the scholarship and give it to them. I deducted some money from work study and study to them. No matter how many. Just send the money to them. It can always calm them down. Only. The degree of greed of parents. Not a student, I am in college. Affordable. In just 2 years. I've paid off the 50,000 yuan. Look at the number that has been wiped out on the account book. I held up a smile on my face. That is the joy of self-salvation success. Regardless of whether parents recognize it or not. But for me, I will have no connection with them anymore. Sophomore year ends. I participated in the military plan. Under the layers of filtering. As the only female student in the school who meets the criteria, I successfully enlisted. Become a volunteer female recruit training camp. We cannot contact the outside world. The outside world can't contact me either. Take an occasional vacation. I'm too lazy to respond either. Harassment from parents. How to learn. How to live. When recruits at the same time complained about high-intensity physical training. I am the only roommate who smiles every day. I'm a natural optimist. But they don't know the life in the military camp. For me, it is the most comfortable I feel in my life. The warmest place. I don't have to worry about it. My parents don't let me go to school. I don't have to worry about what to do if I have a full meal. I don't have to bear the psychological pressure of owing my parents' debts. There is food here every day. 3 dishes and 1 soup every meal. Here is closed management. No one can come in and ask me for trouble. I just want to eat delicious. Sleep well. Just exercise well. What I'm facing is everyone eating the same thing. Sleeping in the same bed. No gender discrimination. There is no high or low. Everyone is equal in the world. I felt unprecedented respect. During that time of study. I don't want to bear it from my classmates. The teachers pity. Every day, I wait until there is no one in the cafeteria before I pick up a bite. I don't want to be ridiculed by my classmates for being contaminated with bright red during menstruation. Always be careful. Wrap layers after layers of sanitary tampons in cotton. But the more I hide myself. In classmate. The road is paved in front of the teacher. The more obvious it is, there will always be a late arrival. The classmate who was having dinner saw me eating leftovers in the corner of the cafeteria. There are always careful classmates who will notice me. The embarrassing layer by layer in the pants. Plus my dull personality. Always shrouded in gloom. Not much. Make friends with classmates. In class. I'm always a different. There is cold violence. Being treated with cold eyes. It's a common occurrence for me. Even in the 2 years of college. In order to pay off the debt of 50,000 yuan. Study hard day and night. Day and night. Working is not normal. The life that students should have. Now I can eat and wear warm. How can I not be content? Just looking forward to the stars and the moon. I hope I can become a father. After learning that I have joined the army. You're welcome to the recruit camp. They called. Want to see me? The instructor thought that my parents missed me too much. Then let them in. Unexpectedly, the instructor hasn't left yet. Just pack my luggage. Let me go back. We'll let you go to college. It is to find a job that can make money after graduation. Not for you to come to such a place where birds don't poop. Now go back to school. And Anqing got her graduation certificate to work. You said the money you earned. We will treat your brother. Send your grandma to a nursing home. Take a walk quickly. We will never agree to join the army. But it has come here. How could they say they disagree? I can leave. Being a military is not a joke. The instructor heard what his parents said. He frowned immediately. At the beginning, the instructor has the patience to explain to his parents. One person joins the army. Glorious words of the whole family. Later, the instructor couldn't stand the ignorance. My parents are so confused. Say something. You can let Guandani leave. Guandani is just dealing with the loss of troops. In the future, Guandani will be included in the list of serious breach of trust. Which unit I'll see? Which company dares to join Guandani? Parents think the instructor is threatening them. They don't believe this at all. We are even bigger than the instructor. If not, this is a military camp. They might even fight with the instructor. When parents and instructors get entangled, I contacted the village chief. It's not appropriate to meet the village chief. I immediately took it out for my parents. Stop making trouble. Joining the army is a good thing. Can a female soldier come out of our village? It is my glory for you villages. If you keep making trouble, don't say that the dividends in the village are not yours this year. I might have some more precautions. How easy is it to be a soldier? This is a special forces team. In the future, we will serve the country. Guandani will be successful in the future. Be patient. Have been waiting for so many years. Wait for a few more years. Wait for Guandani to become a female officer. Your good days are still coming. The village chief drew an invincible cake for his parents. Bigger than the cake I painted before. My parents then endured. But when I left, I took away the hundreds of allowances I left in the past few months. Instruct me again. You're wrong. No need to spend money. I'll get all the money home from now on. If you don't fight, I'll come here to get it to you myself. I answered. There is no good face to face them. Because the training in the recruit camp is about to end. We'll go to a place they will never find. I joined the peacekeeping force. Because of the special identity, I almost disappeared in front of everyone in the past. My parents can't contact me at all. They want to find me. But I don't know where to find me. They can only put all their hopes on the village chief. The village chief gave a certificate of war merit to his parents. Hang a few of my special talent banners at home. Every time the village chief goes there, he will bring 1 or 2,000 bonuses belonging to the military. My parents were very happy at first. They think I'm finally starting to repay this fake. But it's been a long time. The smart mother reacted immediately. Guandani. It's clearly for us to choose to participate. If he doesn't join the army. Now he is a corporate executive. Corporate executives can earn no millions per year. Now someone sends banners every now and then. Give a certificate. Send a happy news home. Then the bonus is only 1,000 or 2,000 yuan. What can this $2,000 do? Dad is back in the future. He finally found that he had completely escaped from their control. But what if you find it? My identity is a person protected by the state. I'm not lucky. His is just a code name in the hero's book. Later I was injured on the peacekeeping battlefield. I chose to leave the army. The path of unself-choosing career. When leaving the troops, I took back all my private belongings. 1 ID card and 1 account book. I told me when I was in the general's army. You never go home for so many years. It's time to go home and have a look after it's time to change jobs this time. What a strange noun to go home. But what the commander said was right, I should go home and take a look. The journey home is long. When you need to take the last bus when you transfer twice in 3 trains. I met my previous boyfriend in the car. He was surrounded by women of similar age. With a son and a woman. The whole family looks rich. It seems like I'm having a happy life. He looked at me. Nod. Smile. Then I just left the seat. A very polite. Military personnel are preferred. I smiled faintly. I've been discharged from the army and give priority to the flowers of my motherland. The 2 children touched my military uniform and said with hope. Dad. Mom. I will also be a soldier and a couple in the future and rub the child's heads. Then you have to study hard. Be a useful talent. There is a chance to serve the motherland. A joyful moment. I feel relieved after seeing it. Bus arrival. 2 children gave me a portrait of military uniform. I kept the portrait in my suitcase. Walking towards the village. Because of the military uniform, I've attracted a lot of attention. Everyone looked at me one after another. But I can't recognize who I am. Until I met the retired village chief. He whispered. I shouted. Guan Danny. It's your mother. Danny. You're back. Where have you been these years? Go home and have a look. The village chief led me home. The dirt roads were paved with asphalt. The dirty and messy things in the past have also improved. Rural construction has changed a lot compared to before. These are symbols of prosperity and strength of the motherland. I'm glad there's such a change in the village. The village chief told me about the events in the village over the years. Tell me while. Changes at home. Parents live a self-pity every day. I know my salary is quite a lot. I felt so angry that I wanted to sue me several times. But because of my special identity, the court does not accept it at all. They are angry and anxious. But there is nothing to do. Go to the village chief all day. The village chief is also annoyed. Just stop being the village chief. The first thing that the new village chief does come up. It was my parents who treated their disrespect for soldiers and their disrespect for village leaders. Report. All their honors were deprived. They even posted their portraits on the village committee's publicity board. They were strictly criticized and corrected. Auntie doesn't dare to make trouble again. Can only do your own work. My grandmother, who died at this time, never believed that the peachwood branch was useless. Better health by taking medicine. Go and fold the peach in front of the door again. Tao Ji's retweet Guan Qing. My dad's mother, who came back from life. I saw my grandma hemiplegia. Still uneasy. He snatched the pottery wood branch. He beat her to death. It's because grandma died. Mom was sent to prison with her life debt. This level has been 20 years. After my dad handles grandma's. Afterwards, I burned the peach tree in front of the door. Then because I need to go to the supervision for the celebration. He has no way to work either. Dad takes office to celebrate the good fortune of a happy year. My dad can't stand this kind of life around the stall. My dad wants to be with my mom. Find a new partner. The 4 evasions of the family. Another one is a private marriage to his son at the entrance of the village. The divorced 50-year-old aunt is unwilling to follow him. My dad can only wait for my mom to come back. How could my dad not know what he thought that day? It's the heli fishing Guan Qingji in front of the village. My father pushed Guan Qingji to let Guan Qingji fall into the water. Qingji can't water. Pull my dad off the boat together. When people are swaying in the water and slapping. All drowned in the end. The body was washed away by water. I don't know where I went. 20 years have passed. My mom came out of prison. I heard about this. I fainted from crying now. Although the people in the village comforted me. Although everyone in the family is not unfamiliar. Although Guan Danny has a chance. Wait until Guan Danny comes back from the army. You have a good life. My mom is waiting like that. Wait for the village entrance at home. Looking at my pennants and certificates every day. Whispering to yourself. My daughter will definitely not ignore me. As long as she comes back. Everything can be better. My good days are still coming. Yes. He is a military family. She has always been the one to be cared for. But this care is only based on the average level care. She can eat and wear warmth without work. She doesn't have to pay medical insurance. The hospital will take care of all her medical treatments. If she's content, her life can be very good. But she is not satisfied. She wants a car. Thinking of the big villa. Want to live a life of a superior person in the city. I'm standing at the door of my house. My mother is sitting at the door. Looking at me with no eyes. White hair. Have lost some weight for a while. He asked Guan Danny tentatively. You're Danny. Right. I nodded and didn't shout that mom. But she hugged me with tears in her eyes. You're back. Is it a reward for my mother? I'm going to live a good life. Is it right? I nodded. She cried with joy. Tears fall for a moment. But he fell down too. Sent to the hospital. The doctor said it was too much emotional fluctuation. A sudden acute brain doctor asked me to prepare for my mother's funeral. The last month. My mom can no longer eat anything or go anywhere. I'm just lying on the bed. Stay by her side every night. Some things I haven't said in the past. Mom is smart. When my dad was coaxed around, Mom first discovered something wrong with me. Mom is right. When Grandma used peachwood branches to beat Guanxingji, I did not stop it on purpose. I even told my grandma. Her peachwood branches have better effect in exorcising evil spirits. Tell her not to grind away the coarse grains on the peach tree branches. Let Guanxingji's flesh be covered with mahogany chips. Later, my mother wanted to go out to work. Don't want to stay in the village. When I asked me to take care of my brother and grandma, I also told the villagers. You don't want us anymore. Want to go out and find a man. Also said I had entrusted. The teacher specially found his father back. Let dad advise you to agree to my schooling. At least this way, there is no need to be gossiped by the villagers. At least this person wants to live a life of face. Let your wife suffer. And the village chief's poisonous eyes. When my son wanted to marry me, I also deliberately made my father feel that I was being pursued by the mayor's son. You're also greedy. I really believe it. Why don't you think about our family's conditions? What does your daughter look like? How dare you hope that the mayor's son will fall in love with me? When I told my mother about my endurance every time I said to her forbearance. She's crying. A pair of eyes can't see. Even if you open your mouth, you can't speak. The body is always shaking violently. Several times, he sprayed blood from his throat into the oxygen hood. Almost choked myself to death. The doctor advised me to give up treatment. But this is my mother. I have the only relatives left in my life. How could I let him die? Died so easily. Mom wandered on the brink of life and death 20 times. Every time. I begged the doctor for help at all costs. Everyone else thinks I am a 24/4 filial daughter. But I'm afraid only my mother knows that I'm just revenge. Those years. My suffering. The sins I suffered in my previous life. Mom's body is full of tubes. Tormented by pain for a month. Finally swallowed. Everyone in the village asked me to cremate my mother into a handful of ashes. But I chose to bury it underground. I bought her a cemetery. Her grave is planted with mahogany. Grandma often says, peachwood can suppress evil spirits. I don't know if the peach tree in my grandma's mouth can suppress my mother's soul. After all, I don't want someone like this to be reincarnated as a mother.